All right, we're back. A couple minutes. I'll give you. I mean, you're going to hear a couple of names. Brett Osmus's name will probably come up. I mean, I would be surprised. Wouldn't be surprised by that. Tim Naring is mentioned. He's a guy that they know well. Josh Paul, former catcher who is currently the Yankees catching coordinator, and Jay Bell. Remember Jay Bell? So Jay Bell is managed their Class A team with the Yankees. But, Jay Bell is a good player. So there's some names if you want a couple of names. Those names are courtesy of the Daily News. That's the first list of names I've seen anywhere. The guys just brought them into me, so there's a couple of names to chomp on. I would have no idea where they're going for a manager. None. I have zero idea. But, again, it'll be someone that they feel that they can, have a quote-unquote partnership with. Mark in Staten Island. What's up, Mark?
Hey, Mike. Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah, what's up?
All the points that you made at the opening of your show were every reason why the Yankees should have given Girardi a contract again, but except for the one big reason that the big point that you make is that he doesn't want to be managed from upstairs. Joe is a throwback manager. He's a great guy. He took this team where all the experts in Vegas and everything else, if I was smart enough, I would have threw $100 down on him because the Yankees were 325 to 1 to make it to the ALDS this year. The big thing is that what you also related to was the fact of some of the players before that don't get along with him.
Yeah, but that's
or
not
whatever.
unusual. That's not unusual.
But no, I agree with that, Mike. But I think that the disdain that one guy in particular had for him resonated with some of the other players, and there's probably maybe a handful, a little bit more, that still have that no love lost for Joe leaving. It's a shame because...
Well, who is that player you're talking about?
I'll tell you right now because I worked up there.
Who is it?
Posada.
Well, yeah, but Posada's out of there, Mark. We know that, but he has nothing to do with this team. Now it's a completely different team. And this was a Yankee decision. This wasn't a team decision. It wasn't like the players did this. This was the Yankee decision. But he had a lot of trouble with Posada. We all know that. I mean, they hate each other. So, but Hoya has nothing to do with the team, though. So, I mean, he's not part of this now. But again, I think Joe Girardi did a good job as their manager. I have no problem with the Yankees changing a manager after 10 years. They have every right to do that. If they decide that's something they feel comfortable with, and it's something they feel they need to do, and they have a philosophy change and they want to go in a different direction, more power to them. They have every right to do that. He'll get another job. Tom in Holbrook. What's up, Tom?
Mike, what do you think about the chances of getting a guy like Tony La Russa to come out of retirement?
No, zero. They don't want. You see, you're missing the point if that's what you're taking because they don't want a guy. They don't want a guy who is completely independent. They want.
Right? I didn't realize he was that way.
Oh, yeah, a little bit. A little bit. He's a star. I mean, no one's going to tell him what to do with a baseball team. He's completely that way. So no, his managerial days are over. Tom in Mayapack, what's up, Tom?
Hey, what's up, Mike? Hey, Mike, now that I think about it, every year, I've been listening to you for a long time. Every year when Girardi was at the end of his contract, whether you interviewed Hal Steinbrenner or whether it was Brian Cashman, they would always say, well, the first thing we got to do is, we got to get Joe's contract straightened out. And this year, whenever you interviewed them, they never brought that up once. And it's kind of, like how they kept it, low key, if that makes sense.
Well, listen, they had there was always the feeling that this year could be different, and it was different.
Absolutely. All right, Mike. Thanks for the time.
No, I mean that was clear. And listen, they didn't support him when the Heat came. He didn't get any support. Matt in Huntington, what's up, Matt?
Hey, Mike, what's going on?
What's happening?
Two names one name that you mentioned already. do you think is on the list? And that would be Posada. And the
No,
other guy
God, no. No, I don't think Jorge's a manager. I don't think he's a manager.
How about Pudge?
I mean, I have no idea. I don't think he's.
If they're looking to mold a guy.
Yeah, but you see, but I don't. You got to have a relationship here. There's got to be someone they familiar with, and someone
do you think Kevin Long is as good as everyone says he is?
I don't think the Yanks will hire Kevin Long. I mean, I would be surprised if they did. And the Mets had
I was surprised that they never. I was surprised they didn't fire him when he was the
Mets
coach.
And the Mets. I mean, a lot of guys like him as hitting coach. I mean, Murphy likes him. A-Rod swears by him as a hitting coach. A-Rod loves him. Joe in Oceanside, what's up, Joe?
How you doing, Mike?
What's happening?
First of all, it's a good get on your side because you felt the temperature in the room and you saw this coming. And I agree that I think this was probably decided before the season started that this would be.
I don't know if it was there, but I think there was some issues through. I think they were maybe moving in the recent years in this direction. I think it was probably something like that. And you know, and who knows when the last straw was? You never know in these things when the last straw is. Sometimes and sometimes with organizations things ebb and flow. Like sometimes you're closer to coming back, and then something will happen that moves you away, and then maybe something moves you closer, then something moves you away. So you go back and forth.
Right. The question I wanted to ask you is that do you think in any way possible that since this was probably already thought of a while ago, that they waited to announce this because they were hoping that the Red Sox and Mets positions would be filled? Because
no, they didn't. They didn't wait to announce. As a matter of fact, they weren't going to do it today. Joe did it. The Yankees had no. They were not going to do anything today. Yankees weren't doing this. They had no interest in doing it right now. The reason this was done this way is Joe released a statement. Joe did this.
But those two teams couldn't hire him until something was said.
Yeah, but
the positions are filled.
But they weren't. I don't think it had anything to do with that. They weren't even going to do it now. I mean, and I don't think the Mets would have hired him anyway because I don't think they would pay him. And I don't think the Mets were looking for a prominent manager. I don't think they were looking for I think they were looking for someone they could mold. I think they wanted someone who'd be happy to have the job and would work for not a lot of money, and was looking for an opportunity. Joe Girardi's different. Joe Girardi comes in as a star manager. He doesn't come in as a guy looking for an opportunity. He comes in having won a championship and the winningest manager in baseball over the last 10 years. He comes in as a star manager. So he comes in with some gravitas. He comes in with expectations. That's why if you're looking, he's a good fit in Washington. He's a really good fit. Jason in Brookfield. What's up, Jason?
Yeah, my question was a two-part question. The caller before me kind of stole my thunder. I was curious to know if you think Girardi would want to manage again.
Oh, I can't answer that, but if he does, he'll have plenty of takers.
And my other part was, you think the Mets are kind of kicking themselves in the rear end by not waiting to see what was going to happen?
No, I don't think they want to pay him, and I don't think they want a guy who's I think they want someone they can mold. I think they want someone they can work with. Girardi comes in as like I said, a star manager. He comes in with with a very different approach. Listen, I'm sure the Mets had gotten wind that this could have been on the table. I'm sure they did. I'm sure that, they know enough people that I'm sure they had wind of this. So if they wanted to wait, they would have waited and see what happened. I don't think they had any interest in Girardi. None. Tony in the Bronx. What's up, Tony?
Hey, Mikey.
What's happening?
Listen, come on, the Girardi thing. Listen, I understand your point. Maybe the kids, whatever it may be, maybe money. But you take this team that's supposed to be a 500 team. Vegas had them at 84 wins.
Right.
And you get 91 wins. You go down 2-0 to the Indians. You come back, win 3 in a row. Something the Indians did to us back in '97 when we were up 2-1. They won the last two. And then you take the Houston Astros, which were a powerhouse, which destroyed the Boston Red Sox, and we take it to Game 7 and we lose. Granted, we were nowhere to be near there. And you get rid of Girardi? Come on, Mike. It's an embarrassment. Girardi's the best manager they could have right now. Whatever the case may be, it's an embarrassment. They should never let that guy go.
Okay. I mean, listen, that's a very fair point of view. I mean, Tony, very fair. He did a very sound job here. He did a very good job this year. I agree with you. But it was time. That's all. They had a difference in philosophy. They want to go in a different direction. It happens. Joe will be fine. I'm sure Joe's hurt today. No one wants to be rejected. I'm sure he's hurt. I'm sure he's not stunned. I can tell you he's not stunned. but I'm sure he's still not happy about it, and he'll land on his feet. If he wants to manage again, there'll be plenty of takers. So, I mean, there'll be plenty of interest. I don't think there's any question about that. Tony in Bayonne, what's up, Tony?
How you doing, Mike? Two things. First, the way baseball is going with the analytical managers.
Yes.
I loved old baseball. Joe Torre managing by his gut, pinch hitters hitting home runs at the right times, leaving the pitcher in to get a batter. He did it so many times. But the thing with Joe Torre is, and I'm kind of like, you mentioned the salary, right? Now, the Yankees said they want to get under the tax and everything like that.
His money doesn't count.
Right, I know that. But I'm saying with that, with the team, and as good as the team is, you think it's kind of like the way Jerry Jones took the team away from Jimmy Johnson, gave it to Switzer, almost like anybody can win with this team now. Well, this team is talented go with a sub.
It's not that so much as it is that we want to have the basis, our foundation based on the analytics and the new era of baseball information. We want that to govern how we run the team. And we want someone in the managerial position that will listen to will buys into our game plan, has been brought up and steeped in our game plan, and understands that he's the point man, but he's also part of our group. And our group is really running the team. The manager himself is not running the team. The group is running the team. The whole department is running the team. And that's how this is the new era of baseball that we're in now, where they want input into things like making the lineup they want input into. Build what the rotation's going to be. They want input into that. And that's why when people were knocking Joe for the way he set up the pitching for the series on Saturday morning, I called up Evan when I was driving. And I said to them, because I said, I've been listening to this, and don't think for a second that Joe does this by himself. I said he sits in a room with a whole bunch of people and they come to a consensus. That's how they decide these things for the series. That's how they do it now. It's a completely different world, and that's the world that they want to completely incorporate their manager into, and that's where they are now, and that's why they're looking for a new manager. Here's Eric.
WFAN FM, New York.